yeah, you did this, or if they then do it and I say, well, actually, can you change it into adding the arm this way? It's very similar to how I research Wade, and this is how he works. And like he said, he works a lot in conjunction, in collaboration with neuroscientists. So I'm just going to do a little thing with you. If you guys could put your hands out towards the wall, just put your hand out towards the wall. So Wayne's way of thinking is he likes to work psychologically thinking. Now, in your brain, you know where your hand is compared to the wall. Is that right? Yeah. So his way of thinking with his dancers is that he works in space, and that physical way of thinking of how far you've got that space, you can put your hands down now. He worked with the cognitive way of thinking of how that space is and where that movement is going to be in the space and in the time. So if you were going to come apart, how much space is there? How can you think cognitively more about the space between you? So that's kind of the way that he thought around it. Then the second way he thought is with partnerships, which is not set choreography, but he used partners to, he developed kind of partner work with each other. And he allowed the dancers to, he used his dancers in order to create movement, which he then added in his own kind of expression. And he used the dancers as not a body, he used them as a slice or a length or just a singular kind of point. And that's where he evolved his movement theory behind that. The third way of thinking was that the dancers take on their own intake of the cognitive thinking of what they can get from that original stimulus. So for example, in that TED talk, he used the word TED. So he would say, take the E, for example, and see the E as a three-dimensional way. And how can you go around it? How can you go underneath it? Can you lift it up with your shoulder? And he would expect his dancers to develop that, and then he would add his own input in. But the way he wants them to think is cognitively in their brain and thinking about the space around them, thinking about what they can get out of the E, thinking about the lines of the T, thinking about where your arms would take you if you were to go out. You know, can you do it with your elbow as such? And so his was a lot more collaboration between the thoughts and working with people, neuroscientists, and also then collaborating with the music and, you know, other people as such. This one here, I'm just going to show you on my phone here. And this is his choreographic thinking tools, just a little short clip of, you know, how he thinks still about his way of choreographing.
One of the things I try to do a lot in my own process is challenge myself not to make pieces that follow convention in a particular way. For me, what has been brilliant about working with the scientists is that actually they allow you through different filters to be able to break those conventions, because the conventions don't exist on their terms.
It's very important to remember that this is an elite dance company with an internationally renowned choreographer. There's only a limited amount that you can do to improve the creative skills of people who are already immensely creative. You can only really operate on the water margins. And I think in that perhaps slightly more limited view, choreographic thinking tool.
Stop that there because I can go on a long time. So yeah, his was obviously a very scientific-based way of thinking and allowing the dancers to think about how they move and, you know, what they're moving around and what they're moving to. I interpreted this in my dance because, for example, we had colours representing different feelings of mental health. And, for example, we had the colour yellow and green, and I gave them imagery, again, which is like Wayne McGregor did with the TED sign. He gave them a T or an E. And with that imagery, I said, what do you get from the word green? And from my mapping, we said the feeling of growing, which could relate to plants or, you know, grass, flowers, things like that. And then obviously you've got that imagery of how you grow, how you go up through the space, and how you go up or how you go out. And from there, that's how we used our own improvisation in order to be able to create those cognitive ways of thinking and using the imagery. Over time, Wayne developed this mind and movement, which wasn't, it's not one particular piece, but it was like a project set over a certain amount of time that was available for the public to go and see. And his company embarked on this, and he staged this exhibition which people could go, and I'm just going to show you a little bit about how he used all his cognitive ways of thinking and developed this little project. Moving on to Matthew Bourne. Matthew Bourne did start dancing really, really late. He didn't go training at the Larkin Centre until he was 22. Leading up to that time, he was an avid theatre goer. He loved to watch a lot of theatre productions. Through researching him, he said that if there was anything he hadn't seen, like an opera, he would go and see the best opera, so that he knew that exactly, what the best opera was. He used to work in the BBC when he was younger, before he started dancing in the accounts team, and used to get a lot of autographs from people and try and follow as many people as he could around there. And over time, he became one of the pioneers for the new leading contemporary way of contemporary ballet, I would say. And it created a bit of a energetic spur, I should say, around that time, because a lot of people with his new work of Swan Lake said that he was a choreographer that couldn't dance because he didn't have any step knowledge of steps. So there was a debate as to whether he was an actual choreographer or whether he was a director. Again, some styles of Bourne, because he was so eccentric and his love for theatre dance, he found that through his choreographic process of working, he would use dancers that were predominantly actors, because he wanted them to act through their role, and not necessarily with highly complex footwork or highly complex dance kind of choreography, but he wanted them to act and really get into their role. He wanted to entertain the audience, and he really collaborated with film set directors. He collaborated with theatre technicians. He never used any words in his theatre works, all musical scores, and this is what he loved through the music, is being able to use the musical score to create that energy. That's just another thing there, just to show exactly what he used. Yes, he used the musical score and able to get the energy out and to get his process going on getting the actors to use their movement. I know for the fact that he brought in pictures, he brought in films, he brought in images that he collected for various things to allow his actors to see exactly what he was trying to interpret into his work. Just really quickly, I looked at Nutcracker.
There's no such thing as a perfect writer. This is why I use Grammarly to check my work.
If I'm putting commas in the wrong places,
So I looked at the Nutcracker because he made this very child friendly. As you can see, that's Nutcracker. He created that in 1992. A lot of theatrical creativity in there, And I just put a bit in there that said, he highlights the need to be very clear and focused on what he wishes to convey to the lengths that he goes in order to draw his dancers into understanding the scenarios he wants to create. Again, pushing the element of whether he's a director or whether he's a choreographer. Like I said before, because some didn't think that he was a choreographer at all. Just moving on quickly. Just a few things about Bourne's choreographic process. Again, he didn't have a lot of steps to rely on, like I said earlier, and he always enjoyed using his brains to be able to find movement. So he works as a movement material. He likes to put a lot more movement in rather than complex steps. A few things that I've just noted there that he took that related to my work, such as a narrative element and imagery. Again, he used improvisation, which I have used at the beginning, but from Bourne's, I took into my piece with the narrative element, because my piece has complete narrative structure. Not so much theatrical, because it's a very intense piece about mental health, but I did use the narrative element and how he creates that imagery through the piece, leading to the structure of mine. And again, collaboration with working with a mental health issue, using, you know, the ideas and the theories behind mental health and how I can use those in my processes with regards to the colours and the choreographic different devices. I've just noted these things in here, which are similar things to what I use in my own piece, such as motifs, relationships, choreographic devices, and again, these are all things that the Nutcracker had as well, which Bourne used and developed through his choreographic processes. I think I've said everything on here, but again, it's just mentioning exactly how the piece, my piece, relates to the choreographers that I've used. And yeah, the main thing I'd like to say is that Ray McGregor's cognitive thinking allowed me to help my piece, to allow my dancers to cognitively get into that way of thinking.
Thank you, Sam. Hoping you might have a question to start.
Did you find then, as you started dancing, sort of in a dance school environment, going from being told what to do, this is how it is at all, and then actually making a piece that involves thinking, was that sort of quite challenging for you?
It was challenging, but I think because I developed it in a style that I was enjoying at the time, so obviously in the early 2002 to 2008, because it was all mainly street dance influence, there was a lot around that. I found that because when you're involved in that world, I found it easier to kind of improvise because we all enjoyed that style of dance. Whereas I think when I went to Laban, I found it hard to improvise straight away, because even though I'd done my A-level dance and everything, it's still quite a big jump from doing tap, ballet, modern jazz every day, and then suddenly having a 3-hour improvisation session, which is a bit, you know, a bit too much for me at the time. But then, like I said, because it was something that I enjoyed doing in a different style, that helped me then lead on to kind of thinking about the cognitive side and turning it then more into a contemporary form or more of a structured pathway.
And do you enjoy it being kind of a complete body experience, to just saying this is what you're dancing?
I've always enjoyed, I think again like Ray McGregor, I've always enjoyed about the body. In fact, when I did my GCSE art piece, it was all about the body, and I painted life-size muscular pictures of the body in different dance positions. So I think I've always got that natural thing that I like knowing how the body works. I like knowing about muscles. I've done all my anatomy exams, and I enjoy the physiological side of things. So yeah, I think, you know, researching it more allows me to understand.
I think my question might be similar to that one, really, but you know, just looking at your background coming from hip hop and street and whacking, and you're saying about that at the beginning. But the young people you're working with now for the piece, because obviously I've seen the piece you've made, that style is more contemporary, lyrical, isn't it? Do you think that some of these processes could be used back with your street whacking?
I must admit, I probably, yeah, actually, because there are some things. Obviously, when we do a street dance, the way Wayne teaches his style, what comes out of his mouth when he's doing his, you know, I kind of use with a boom, cat, hit, and that I think relates in the sense that of trying to make the dancers understand, make the children understand that when it's the hit, that's the boom as such, and that's what he did in his elements of, in the TED talk. He explained that he uses words to allow the dancers to know that if it's a woo, then they need to make it a more fluid motion. So yeah, I do think there are elements that I do kind of.
He's well known for that as well, with his funny noises and sounds.
Yeah,
and
I do sometimes, I don't know what comes out my mouth sometimes, and the children are like, what did you just say? I'm like, I don't know, but that's what I mean as such. So I think there are kind of similarities probably that I didn't realise before, but that I know now. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thanks very much.